This is Standing Watch. And now, Evangelist Norbert Link.
Greetings everyone, and welcome back to our Standing Watch program. I recently returned from Germany, and I could witness firsthand what's going on over there. The situation is such that Angela Merkel's chancellorship and rulership in Germany is only a matter of time until it ends. An opinion piece published by Die Zeit in late September said this: "The Chancellor's power is dwindling at an alarming rate. If Merkel's chancellorship were a ship, the water would now be up to the engine room." Now that was in September, and then comes the debacle in the Bavaria election last Sunday. Politico wrote on October 14 that the Bavarian wing of Angela Merkel's center-right bloc suffered its worst result in nearly 70 years in a state election as voters abandoned Germany's ruling parties. And then they go on to say that the big winners of the night were the far right, and I might want to add, the anti-immigration and pro-military Alternative for Germany, AfD, and the Europe-loving Greens. And then it says that the Bavarian result is bound to fan speculation about Merkel's own future as chancellor. And they also state that another election is coming up in Hesse by the end of October. And if that goes down the tubes, which it looks like for Merkel, then she might lose her chancellorship, at least the chairmanship of the CDU, her party, in December, and that could very well lead then to her having to give up the chancellorship. Der Spiegel wrote on October 15 that the most important outcome of the election in Bavaria is the fact that it has made the premature end of the Merkel's governing coalition much more likely. And AFP wrote on October 14 that debacle for CSU, that's the party in Bavaria, and SPD or SPD, that is of course the other coalition party, ran the online headline of Bild Daily, while Der Spiegel called it a bitter defeat for Bavaria's traditional ruling party. The AfD, which rails against Muslims and demands that Merkel must go, entered the 15th of Germany's 16 state assemblies. And the only one where they are not yet in is Hesse. And that is going to be very soon also a state where they're going to be in. And then they're going to be in every of the state assemblies. The Telegraph even went a step further. They said on October 14, the results will add to the growing calls within Merkel's own party for the veteran chancellor to stand down. Deutsche Welle wrote on October 15 that the latest debacle could very well spell the end for a coalition that none of the parties really ever wanted in the first place, and that in the eyes of many voters is muddling through rather than shaping crucial policies ranging from immigration to pensions. And then they talk about the alternatives. And the alternatives would be new elections, and nobody wants that, because new elections would mean the AfD in all likelihood would even get more votes than what they got already. And so they say none of the options are really, desirable, and what's keeping the coalition together, albeit tenuously, is a lack of clear alternative at this point. But this grand coalition will fall apart very soon. And Angela Merkel's days as the CDU party leader and German chancellor are numbered. Because there's going to be a clear and real alternative for the German people in the very near future. Now, let me first of all talk about the AfD. What about that party? We are being told that in several eastern German states, it's established itself as the strongest political force. And almost everywhere else in the country, the party has currently second place. Now in Bavaria it only got fourth place, but that's still pretty good for the AfD in Bavaria. But in most other states, second place. In other words, before the SPD. But concerns regarding the AfD are very well founded. Recently, a leader of the AfD has made outrageous and ridiculous statements, including the preposterous allegation that Hitler was compelled to invade Poland. And he also called Count Stauffenberg a coward. He was the one who in 1944 tried to kill Hitler. And of course the movie Valkyrie with Tom Cruise makes this very clear. Actually a very good movie, quite accurate in the way it was presented. Another very disturbing development is that the AfD has now set up online portals across the country where school children can denounce teachers who speak against the party. And that reminds us of East German practices. That reminds us of Nazi Germany. Of course, it also reminds us of other totalitarian states where children are turned against their parents. And that's what the AfD wants children to do. The AfD is an opposition force, a political chameleon. It's not likely that it will provide the new leadership in Germany, but it creates much unrest and it creates much uncertainty and responses. And the other parties have tried to respond to the AfD and they have tried to absorb some of their politics and policies. And of course that has severely backfired. But somebody will arise soon. It's not going to be Angela Merkel. As I said, she's not going to be in power much longer. Somebody who we may or may not focus on at this point. But he will ultimately lead Germany, trying to create peace out of this current chaos. Now, we had something like that before, where Hitler came to create peace out of the chaos of so many fighting parties. You know what the outcome of that one was. Something similar is going to happen again. Now, you need to know what is going to happen. And we have prepared a booklet, Europe in Prophecy, the unfolding of end-time events. And this booklet spells out from the Bible what is prophesied for Germany, what is prophesied for Europe. And what is prophesied is not good news to begin with, but it has to happen, because ultimately it will lead to the return of Jesus Christ. And that's why you need to know what is happening in Germany right now, and what will happen in the very, very near future, and what will then lead to Christ's return. So thank you very much for listening. This is Norbert Lenk for the Standing Watch program.
Standing Watch is a presentation by The Church of the Eternal God, P.O. Box 270519, San Diego, California 92198. More information is also available at our website, eternalgod.org.